Here are the three main reasons why avoidance can sometimes discard a partner. And let me start out by saying yes, avoidance absolutely can and do discard partners. They do it for different reasons than narcissists. Avoidance largely do it out of fear. However, a discard is still a discard. The person being discarded feels like they're being thrown in the trash like they never even mattered. A discard is a blindsiding breakup. It is absolutely a shocker to the person that's being discarded. There is no communication about any unhappiness in the relationship. There's little to no answers given, little to no explanation. And it's unilateral. The person being discarded is deprived of a voice or a say in the breakup. And on top of that, to make matters worse, there's little to no empathy shown during the discard. It's a very painful experience. So here are the top three reasons why an avoidant can do this to you. Number 3, the avoidant resents you. And this is especially applicable with the fearful avoidant. They don't communicate their wants and needs throughout the relationship. If you're doing something that bothers them, they're not going to tell you. They're just going to bottle it up and keep it within. You're not going to know that you're not meeting their wants or needs. And over the course of time, because this person doesn't communicate with you, since their wants and needs and feelings aren't being met, they begin to resent you. And eventually that resentment builds up to the point where the avoidant can't take it anymore and they abruptly discard the partner. They deactivate, which means they take their feelings for their partner, they bury them. They don't allow themselves to access their feelings in this moment. It's a way of protecting themselves by avoiding emotions. And the person being thrown out has absolutely no clue that this was coming. And it's a very, 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 very painful experience. But it's because of a lack of communication on the part of the avoidant, and their lack of communication led to resentment. Number 2, conflict. Avoidants fear conflict, and this goes back to their childhood when their emotions and feelings were dismissed. If they were sad, they were told to go be sad in their room. If they were crying, they were told to suck it up. Their feelings were not nurtured as children, so they learned to suppress their emotions and to not express them. This causes them to greatly fear conflict because they associate conflict with rejection, and rejection is one of the core fears of an avoidant. So even a small conflict that might be over nothing major becomes monumental in the eyes of the avoidant. Even the slightest disagreement means that you and the avoidant are completely incompatible, and the avoidant has to end the relationship, and they do so quickly because they fear this conflict that much. And the number one reason why an avoidant might discard a partner is likely the most painful of all. Emotional intimacy was growing in the relationship. The relationship was actually going well. And that's precisely what triggered the avoidant's fears. Avoidants were emotionally neglected as children, so they learned to associate emotional intimacy with abandonment. The people that you're supposed to rely on for your emotional needs are going to reject and abandon you. So when they're in a relationship with a partner that treats them well, one that shows them love, commitment, time, and energy, this will trigger the avoidant's fear because they have a castle wall they built around their heart, and they keep their partner on the other side is to keep themselves safe. Because if the partner gets behind the castle wall, they will figure out that they are in fact too good for the avoidant, that the avoidant is unlovable, and they're going to reject and abandon the avoidant. So the avoidant, as a maladaptive defense measure, will push that person away and discard them abruptly. It's a way that the avoidant keeps themselves safe. It's a form of self-sabotage because deep down, avoidants want connection, they want love, but when they get it, their fears take over. And they are only thinking about their own perceived wants and needs and feelings in the moment. They're not even considering the feelings of the person that they're discarding when they brutally blindside them. It is a very selfish thing, but it's based out of fear. Emotional intimacy and healthy relationship behaviors are precisely what trigger avoidant fears. So if you've been discarded for this reason, it's because the relationship was going well. It's because you were a good partner to this person. And the fact that you were a good partner is precisely what scared them. So don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You're not responsible for the avoidance attachment wounds. Regardless of which reason they discarded you for, these behaviors are the result of somebody who hasn't done the work to heal, that has not self-reflected, and avoids processing emotions rather than dealing with it. That's not your fault. You didn't cause that. If you're blaming yourself, you're just pushing yourself further into anxiety and insecurity, and it makes it so much harder to get over this person. So practice some self-compassion and don't beat yourself up for it. And recognize these behaviors are not what healthy people do.